as the captain in West Las Vegas at Bolden Area Command, I had participated in 5 or 6 different reentry programs by that point. I'd talked to 13 different people that represented reentry programs, and every one of them was an abject failure. Every one of them was receiving a significant amount of funding from the federal government to do absolutely nothing. And when John came forward and we'd met through some various activities out in the community, and he said, "Hey, I want to talk to you about this reentry thing." I'll be honest with you, the first thing I said is, "No effing way." Now, he's a pastor, that's why I said effing instead. So, but the reality of it is that I blew him off from the very get-go. I didn't want to hear a single thing that he had to say because I didn't believe in this idea of us spending millions of federal dollars to try to work on reentry and none of it ever working. But you can tell as you listen to the man speak, you have this idea that you want to believe him, right? Because he touches you, he makes you think about some things, he makes you feel something, and he did that to me. So we started to talk about a variety of different ways of things that we could do. And I will tell you, and one of the things that I want to highlight for all of you is that you can imagine what it looked like when I went before. What I did was I assembled about 60 cops, so I thought I had a tremendous amount of influence over. And I brought them into the room and I told them my vision, I told them where we wanted to go, and I think pretty much all of them, but about 6 of them walked out of there. So I realized exactly how much my influence really was at that particular point. But the reality of it was that we were asking cops to go in and develop relationships with ex-offenders. We were asking them, and let me be honest with you, we're not just talking about low-level offenders, right? What we all talk about, these people that we in our minds still think we have a chance. These are people that committed murder. These are people that were bank robbers. These were people that were sexual offenders. These were people from all walks of the judicial system that I was asking my cops to go in there and develop some level of relationship with. And also, at the same time, I also had a couple of these naggy policies that we have in our policy manual that prohibits consorting with persons of ill repute. They're not allowed to develop a relationship by the very nature of the policies that we have. I wasn't sure how I was going to get over that one at that particular point, but knowing Doug Gillespie and the trust that he had in me, I just did it. And we developed a few ways around what that sort of restrictive policy was. And we started this process. We got that first group of 6 or 7 to go in and start to teach. Start to have that opportunity to get to see one another. And really the ultimate goal for me from the very get-go was I didn't want to have this legacy at the end of my career to think that we never had an opportunity to make a difference. And what I really was trying to get to is right, see, when you become a cop or you become a jaded prosecutor or whatever that is that we all do, we don't see those folks through the same lens that we would see them through. First thing that we don't see an ex-offender or that person sitting at one of these tables across from you as a human being. And in many, many circumstances, it's hard to ever see the humanity through some of the crimes that they commit. But when you go back in and you look at all of the customers of the judicial system, it's the failures of every other social system that we have, right? Mental health failures, addiction failures, fatherless family failures. The list goes on and on and on. All of our customers, all of your customers are people that never really had a chance oftentimes. We take them and we put them in this so-called program, right? And I think it was probably 3 months into it, and I got a 911 call from John, and he says, "Oh, you're not going to believe this, but we had a guy that just stole a car, and we chased him all over the place. He landed pretty much in the parking lot. He's telling the cops he was coming to his Hope for Prisoners meeting," right? And so he thought, oh boy, this would be the end of it and all that, but we're not going to have a 100% success rate in dealing with returning offenders because you're dealing with human beings again. But this opportunity for these officers to go in there, right, and to develop that humanity and that look back both ways, our approach to them and their approach to us, it's really one of the most magical things I've ever had the opportunity to witness in law enforcement.